Yo, what's up guys? It's the Insane Game Freak here to bring you Durarara Season 2, Episode 4, review. Let's go! So, Durarara Season 2, Episode 4. Once again, if we can get this video up to 60 likes, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you for all the support, and let's continue keeping it going so the reviews keep going. Anyways, getting back on track to episode 4. Episode 4 was nuts. I can easily say the first half of this was just this is probably one of the more fun, chilled episodes, to be perfectly honest, with like a slight dark undertone to it. Because most of the episode is just kind of either explaining things we didn't already know and just kind of going through the motions. Actually, from this, I understand that the Hollywood arc is over, which means I guess Durarara's not going to be pushing these long arcs throughout their chapters. Then again, each one of these, I guess, are supposed to be a few arcs in themselves, so I assume that this first 10 episodes will probably cover like 2 arcs. The next 10 episodes will cover another 2 arcs, and the third one will probably cover 2 arcs, and they're each like 4 or 5 episodes apiece, which is what I'm betting, and maybe some like bullshit episodes in between, because that's how we do it. I think most of the stuff that I thought was the most interesting was probably, well, first of all, the fight scene, fun as hell. That whole interaction. Also, Donichi is like up there with me now, because that man, he kills me. I like how in every situation for some reason he just feels the need to he's that dude who'll punch first. He's like Shizuo. He's like a young Shizuo to me. He comes out the van, like Mikado and them are about to get roughed up by some former yellow scarves. And the dude, he just comes out the van, and they're like, hey, what are you, boom, he just starts hitting them. He just starts hitting them. It's like, come on, get in the van. Let's go, get in the van. Come on, let's go. And the shit had me running up and down. I thought that shit was hilarious, bro. I thought that shit was hilarious. And then you have the fight scene. You kind of have Celty being all nostalgic and being like, oh, I was able to meet so many wonderful people this last year, and I'm so happy. It's just weird. It seems like there's like this Celty subplot going on about how she's becoming way complacent with everything in her life. Like, she's super chilled about everything. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. I find it adorable though. Like, even when we get to the hot pot scene later on, she's gotten like really chill considering how distant and kind of she was. Also, I found out that the Igor plan has been spanned around like 2 or 3 episodes and had nothing to do with the Ruri shit. Like, you know, when we saw the arm fall out of the bag, we thought that was Ruri. I thought that was Ruri's arm. I thought we were going to learn about her power. If we're going to learn about her power, we're not going to learn it now, because we've learned a few things from this. That apparently the studio she was with, which I believe the dude's name is Yggdrasil, which I think is a reference to Yggdrasil, which is like the tree that like never dies or something. I believe that's what it's in reference to too. The point is, her backstory has something heavily to do with the brand, I guess her casting? What is it called? Her label, her representative company. Apparently which is obviously built up by the Mafia and the Yakuza, because this is all the type of dudes that are looking for her. And actually, that's what Igor was sent there to do, is to find her, which apparently got derailed, and now he just doesn't give a fuck anymore, because now he's like the goddamn butler of the Izaya sisters, who now have also seem to have joined the chat room for some reason, which I always thought wouldn't be until like major characters. I mean, I expected Oba to join the chat room by the end of his arc, but I didn't think they would throw the Izaya sisters in that quick, especially because they haven't really done anything. They're kind of just around. And for those who don't really get the Igor Izaya sister Celty situation, that was Igor wrapped in a different outfit, which is probably what he would normally look like before, you know, he got his face smashed in. The plan was that they would pay for his medical bill, and all he had to do was be a package for the other Russian guy at the sushi place to give Celty as a transport job, and the $10 million that they used to pay her was actually the $10 million that they found it's weird. The 10 million, it wasn't 10 million. It was like the 10,000 yen she was getting, or it was like 10,000 or 100,000. It wasn't like, it was like a fraction of what she actually, the bounty in her head was worth. Like, it was all a weird situation that kind of worked out so well in the end. It was kind of weird. Like, it's such a happy arc. It's such like a chill arc. You kind of forget the fact that like the premise is based around this girl who goes and kills people, and there's this huge dark undertone regarding these Yakuza characters and even the people that Igor works for. It's like all this shit, we got all this undertone shit in the background, we don't really know anything, which I'm hoping, I figure we will, because one of the newer characters is being introduced next week, the playboy looking one, the one that kind of looks like, but the way I look at him, he looks like he should be like Masaomi's brother. Like, he looks like he should be his older brother because of the way he acts. Then again, Masaomi's was kind of a bullshit ploy considering everything that happened in season 1 and the stuff that happened before Durarara even started, but that's a different story. But the most interesting part about the episode, and I think we all know it's coming because it was mentioned at the end. The last thing you remember is the talk about this. The Aoba, Izaya, and Mikado situation. Now, I've unfortunately put Durarara on the list of animes that has now become so well liked that I've done something that I have a tendency of doing. So usually when I like a show and another season's coming out, I have the tendency to start looking up minor spoilers. Now, I haven't looked up arc spoilers, but if you look at, like, you know how like there's wikis based around a certain anime? If you look at profile for characters, they'll tell you certain things in their affiliation. Well, let's just say I looked at Aoba's affiliation, and I looked at Mikado's affiliations, and that in itself, also just a personality, you know, the personality section they have for the character, that for Mikado has already kind of proven what I was already thinking. Because at the end of the episode, they mention it during the thing, actually when it happens, when they're sitting there in the van with everybody running away from all the crazy people chasing them, and Salty, Aoba looks at, Mikado sees him trembling, and they don't show his face. They show like the bottom half of his face, and it looks like he's scared. And Aoba's like, "Senpai, yo," and then at the end of the episode, they go and expand upon that and show that he was actually smiling, which is obviously playing to the part that these next few arcs will probably start outlining the darker side of Mikado's personality. Now, once again, I have read the spoilers to see how far. I haven't read the arc spoilers, so I still don't know what happens in any of the arcs because I refuse to ruin that. But in terms of personality traits, my theory that Mikado's a much darker character than what we've seen so far is definitely true. Now, how dark he gets, I have no idea because I don't know anything he does. I just know that my theory of him being becoming a more twisted character is kind of obvious. And it kind of was something I kind of expected to happen, and here's the reason why. Masaomi and Henri have some dark, deep-rooted issues. Now, Masaomi's is almost already kind of chilled out because he's kind of gone through all the shit, and he's kind of mellowed out now. He still has his issues, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was. Henri still has the psycho shit on her. I mean, this episode even re-outlined it, saying that's the reason why she was able to take control of Igor temporarily, is because Saika, like, indirectly scratched him, meaning Saika did it and Henri didn't will her to do it, which is another problem in its own right, but that's besides the point. So with that being said, it's like, well, you have a character who, Henri's past is very dark and Masaomi's is just kind of sad, and then you look at, like, Mikado's, and Mikado's is like this really boring ass story of a kid who had nothing to do in life but wanted to do good things. And I'm like, well, that's a genuinely nice idea, but given how dark everyone else's issues are, it kind of doesn't fit in with the realm of Durarara until you realize that Mikado's personality issue is what's going to become relevant later versus everyone else's that was more relevant in the past, and now they're dealing with it. Mikado has to go full circle. I'll put it this way. Masaomi and Henri were already halfway through the damn circle when the series started. Mikado hadn't even fucking gone all the way around yet. That nigga was just starting the circle. Season 2 will get him to the halfway point where we'll see him at his absolute worst. And then he'll probably make, and hopefully, because it kind of, I would hate if season 2 ends on the note in which it's just kind of like you don't even really like Mikado. Because I feel like it's going to be a Madaka box situation for me. Where Madaka, when she went through her little fucking circle, I hated her at a certain point. Like, I absolutely... Actually, I hated her from the beginning, grew to like her, and then I proceeded to hate her for a little while, and then I kind of grew right back out of it. I feel like Mikado's going to go through something similar. Also, considering what Aoba's current plan is, which is that... I don't know how... Well, considering I know his affiliation now, I have an idea of how he's aware of Izaya, but the whole offing Izaya is also going to be an interesting turn because it's fucking Izaya. I mean, for God's sakes, Izaya... Whenever you hear about a character trying to off one of the trollish characters in the goddamn series, that's either to do two things. One, to show how much of a badass the new character is, or two, to show that you can't fuck with the original troll of the series. I'm banking it's probably the second one, because I don't think Aoba can handle it. Which is very interesting considering that one of the key things I didn't look through his whole detail and shit, I just looked at glimpses. The one thing that stuck out is, apparently he's also known and is also referred to as a little Izaya. Well then again, Aoba didn't look like a goddamn... I've even mentioned this in the first few episode reviews. Aoba doesn't look like a hero type character. Like, Aoba looks like he's an antagonistic character. Like, he looks like a character who is intentionally there to rock the goddamn boat. I actually do believe that his introduction is really meant to just show how dark and how twisted Mikado really is, and at the same time show... And he's going to go through his own little character arc. Now, based on what I've kind of know, I can already assume that Aoba's probably going to go through that stereotypical... He has this huge personality issue due to something that's happened in his past, and once the arc ends, he'll come out of it, and he'll slowly but surely begin to change his way of thinking. But when you hit that point, everyone will know what kind of an asshole he is. It's kind of how people view Izaya in a way. Because not that many characters are aware of Izaya's bullshit. Like, very few. I would only argue maybe Simon and Henri know of his bullshit. And Henri doesn't even know enough. Henri just knows some of his bullshit. I feel like Simon knows like the full extent of his bullshit. And maybe like Celti. Celti might know, maybe Seiji's sister, but I really think Simon's the nigga who... Simon's the only dude who's actually like rocked his shit already. It's the only character I've seen rock Izaya's shit. So I'm gonna bank that he knows. The episode in itself was fun, but I fear what comes next because I've looked at some minor spoilers. Oh, I fear that I might hate Mikado by the end of the season. And I really don't want that to be the case because I do like the character. Also, side note, apparently the spin-off series, the Durarara SH, he and Henri are dating in that. So, what does that say about the main series, I guess? I don't know. I guess we'll find out later. Anyways, really fun episode. I really enjoyed the episode itself, but that undertone, that shit at the end, I was like, I knew you had to throw something in there to cap me, and then on top of that, I looked up the spoilers, so I know that that's gonna be taken to its extreme, and now I'm just like, bruh. No! No! Anyways, I guess we'll look forward to it and see what happens. Anyways, this has been the Insane Game Freak. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching and supporting the video, and I will catch you guys later. Peace! Oh.